StraighTAllDay.com.
People, Baldwin, StraighTAllDay.com. I'm getting into another video talking about diet and nutrition, so I got to start this video with my normal disclaimer. The disclaimer is this: that all the information contained in here is not medical nor hardcore nutritional advice. Any information that you get about what you put in your body, you need to research yourself and educate yourself about the things you're putting in your body, since we all eat foods. This applies to everybody watching this video and everybody who hasn't watched this video. All the information here you can research on your own. Google has all the information in the world. All you gotta do is look it up and read the information. It's free and it's open to you. On my website there's a page called Diet and Nutrition. You can click on that link and you'll see a bunch of links that I share from people who are experts, who know way more than me about diet and nutrition and food and all the topics I'm gonna cover in this video and all the other videos I've covered on diet and nutrition. So make sure you educate yourself before you take any action. Alright, now let's get into the video. First of all, my diet. Actually, I started about a year and change ago. I actually went vegetarian because I was feeling very sluggish with the food that I ate. And I talked about this before in previous videos. So it's just a recap for people who are seeing this for the first time. We talk about diet and nutrition because I made like 5 or 6 of these already. So then I was on a vegetarian diet. I got sick of the vegetarian diet. I went to paleo diet, which is basically, and it's not really a diet, it's a lifestyle. And I'm going to say diet just to keep it simple so everybody understands what I'm talking about. So I went to the paleo, and you can hear me talk about diets and lifestyles back in the first video of this series, which is all in the playlist. So anyway, I changed to the paleo diet, which means eating meats, vegetables, and fruits. I was on a paleo diet for probably about a few months. Then I actually was in Europe. When I was in Europe, I knew I wouldn't be able to control my food options as well as I was when I was in the United States. So I was basically eating anything, trying to watch it, but I couldn't really watch it the way I wanted to. So then I came back and I went paleo again. So I went back to the paleo diet, and then around February I said, you know, let me try a vegan or vegetarian diet, because I was reading a lot of stuff about veganism and vegetarianism. So I went to that. I tried that for I was doing that for like a month, because I tried a lot of different ways of eating. And I didn't really like it. It was kind of boring and there was too many grains in it. The reason that I stopped doing the vegan / vegetarian is because they put a lot of grains in your food. That's rice, any types of pasta. Basically, those are two main things that the grains are coming from in bread. A lot of grains in that stuff. There's a lot of gluten and a lot of wheat, and that's where gluten comes from. And I'm reading a lot of things that basically tell you gluten is not good for your body. Gluten can break down or hurt your body in the long run, even though you can also find conflicting opinions to say there's nothing wrong with gluten, which is the reason why I tell all you in a disclaimer that you had to educate yourself and think and decide for yourself what's going to work for you. Because there are so many different conflicting opinions. When somebody will tell you that being a vegan is great, somebody will tell you that eating meat is natural, somebody will tell you eating animals is bad, somebody will tell you that eating animals is exactly what we need to do. So you had to decide what works best for you. And I've talked through all of these topics over and over again in these videos. So if you watch all the videos in this series, you'll see the stuff, the thought process I've gone through. And also you can check out all the information that I have consumed on this topic if you go to the diet and nutrition page on my website. So where am I at right now as of May 2014? I am eating the paleo lifestyle, which is meats and vegetables. Now a lot of people are saying, the more information I read, don't eat fruits, because fruits have a lot of sugar in them. People talk about not putting too much sugar in your body. But me, I eat fruit. I eat fruit because I'm an athlete. I need the carbs. The two main carb fruits that I eat are apples and bananas every single day. It's basically my breakfast, apples and bananas. I eat raisins also. I eat almonds, roasted almonds with salt on them as a little bit of a snack. Those are basically the snack foods I eat. And strawberries also, those are also high in carbs. I need a lot of carbs because I'm an athlete. So I like to carb load in the morning by eating the bananas and the apples. They do have sugar in them, and I like sugar. So I've cut out all the excess sugar, like candy and a lot of dessert foods. Those have a lot of excess sugar in their processed foods. I try not to eat any processed foods. I still do from time to time. I don't eat bread. Even though I love bread, I don't eat bread anymore. I'm staying away from pasta. I'm staying away from rice. Any kind of grain, anything that has gluten in it, I want to stay away from. You don't know what gluten is, look shit up. Again, go to my website and read the page, read the links on that page. And any links that ain't on that page, there's more information out there. I ain't put every link of information in the world on my page. I put some that pertain to the things that I was reading. So there might be more stuff that's not on that page. That's not the end all be all, but it's a good place to start for those of you who are ignorant when it comes to nutrition and diet and you need to educate yourself, that's the place where you can begin. I'm not the place where you begin. I am not a nutritionist, again. So what else I want to talk about? Talk about prices. I talked about that in the previous video, because one thing that kept me from switching over to a vegan or vegetarian or any type of special lifestyle of eating before was that in my mind I was thinking it's going to cost me a lot of money to eat this way. Like, it's going to cost me too much money if I was to go vegan or vegetarian, because I got to buy all these vegetables, and I got to go to the grocery store every other day, and it's going to cost me more money to buy the organic foods and stuff like that. Well, this is what you need to understand. It's the reality you got to understand. It does cost more money to eat quote unquote clean. And when I say eat clean, that kind of means you kind of paying attention to what you're eating. You're eating stuff that's good type of meats, and you can look up what's a good or bad meat for you. What I might say is good might not be good for you. So when I say good type of meats, I mean meat that's more organic, meat that's more grass-fed, meat animals that lived naturally, that weren't raised up in cages or very small confined spaces, that didn't know how to walk, or birds that didn't know how to fly and shit like that. So when you talk about eating that way, eating cleaner foods, healthier foods, healthy is relative, of course. It does cost more money. I spend more money on food now than I was spending before in general. But overall, I actually waste less time with food because I actually order from a delivery service. And the food tastes better. My body feels better. I'm over 30 years old and I'm an athlete, so I have to take care of my body if I'm going to continue to be at a high level in a sport. You got to be able to take care of your body. And even if you don't play a sport, you want your mind to be in good shape, and you want your body to be in good shape for when you raise your kids. You get to 50 or 60 years old, you don't want to be in a hospital or have to have your kids come live with you and take care of you because you can't take care of yourself because you didn't take care of your body. I was speaking to my grandmother a few weeks ago, and I asked her, I said, what was one thing, if you could tell yourself at my age what you would have done differently? And number one thing she said is I would have watched what I eat and took care of my body better. Like, the things that I ate and the way I took care of my body probably hurt me in the long run. My grandmother's like 80 years old. So that was the number one thing she said. I didn't get a chance to ask my other grandmother on my mom's side. That was on my dad's side. So I'm going to ask her next time I talk to her if I remember to do so. So when it comes to money, you are going to spend a little bit more money, but you got to ask yourself, if you can spend money on a pair of sneakers, you can spend money on the cell phone you're watching this video on, or your computer, or the clothes you got on, or going to the club, or whatever other bullshit you be spending money on. How could you not spend the money on your body? I mean, you only get one body. You can buy a new pair of sneaks. Next year, we all going to have different cell phones than we got right now. There's always going to be new clothes coming out. There's always going to be a bar or a club or a lounge to go to. You only get one body. You can't replace it. You can't buy new parts for it. And even if you do, it will never be the same. You got one body to take care of. If you want to spend money on anything, you might as well spend money on that. So that's the rationale that I look at. Even when I know I'm spending more money, I know I could be cheap and spend less money on food and the way that I eat, my lifestyle. But why do that when I only got one of these? And especially all you watching this, many of you watching this video are athletes. If you're an athlete, you better be putting some money into your body, or you ain't gonna be an athlete for long. Next topic I was talking about, I said no meat, no grains, no starch, because I was talking about gluten and how gluten can be bad for the human body. Again, there are conflicting opinions on this topic. There are a ton of articles you can read about it. I suggest you go look them up and read them so you can interpret the information in a way that works for you. Don't think that everything I say is 100% ironclad, the guaranteed word. This is just opinion. All of this is opinion. There is no fact when you're talking about food. Somebody may present it to you as a fact if they're very zealous about the stance that they have, but all of this is opinion. One person says this is bad for you, another person say the exact same thing is good for you. One person says it's okay, another person says it's terrible. One person says it's all right to eat that, another person says it's slightly not all right. So you have to educate yourself. There's a lot of information out there, and the thing about food that we eat is that we're always learning new things about the human body. We're always learning new things about our food. So nothing that I'm saying in this video, maybe a year from now, everything I'm saying might not even be relevant anymore. So all of you have to be vigilant and paying attention to what's going on in the world as far as the stuff you put in your body, so that you can stay up on information and you can make changes when necessary. Me, I decided a few things, but when I get new information, I take new actions, and all you need to do the exact same thing. What else I need to talk about? All right, any of y'all ever eat food, right? Or you hear somebody eat food and they like, I got the itis after they eat food, the itis, I-T-I-S. It's like a little slang term people use. You get the itis after you eat some real good food, or at the Thanksgiving dinner and stuff like that. I was reading Russell Simmons' latest book, which is called Success Through Stillness. I did a review on that book on my website. You can look it up. And he was talking about, the book is actually about meditation, but he was talking about the whole body-mind connection. And he said when people eat food and they say they got the itis, that's because your body is telling you something. Eating food is not supposed to make you tired. Right? You eat breakfast in the morning. Do you feel tired after you eat breakfast? Probably not. So why is it when you eat certain meals you feel tired? It's not because it's a certain time of the day or anything like that. It's because the food that you put in your body is giving you a signal back that's telling you something, that this food is not the best food for you. Why would you want to feel tired after you eat food? That's because the food you put in is making you feel sluggish. And that's exactly how I was feeling over a year ago when I decided to start taking control of my diet, eating cleanly when I first went vegetarian, because the food that I was eating was making me feel really sluggish. And being that I'm an athlete, like I said, I was in the gym, and I'm like, why do I feel so damn tired first thing in the morning? I just woke up. Why am I tired? And it was because I was eating shit food. I was eating food with a lot of bad shit in it, a lot of bad process in it, and it was making me feel sluggish. It was the itis, and I was feeling the itis in the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning. So even if it's 8 o'clock at night, if you feel the itis after you eat, that means your body is telling you something about whatever it is you just put inside of it, and you need to take a look at that and think about it. Next thing, I was at the zoo, right, like a month ago, the zoo in Miami, and I'm reading at the same time here. So I'm at the zoo and talking about animals. They got animals from Asia, they got animals from Africa, they got animals from India, and which is part of Asia, of course. But I'm looking at that and I was thinking to myself, why do they have animals from these parts of the world? They don't even exist in the United States. Why are they in the zoo here? And I was thinking that's a bad thing. But then, like a week after that, I was listening to the radio and they had the zookeeper on. And he was talking about, a lot of the animals that we have in the zoo were actually protecting their species from becoming extinct because of things that humans do out there. When you're talking about building new cities, they're destroying habitats. A lot of animals get hunted for their fur or for their tusks or whatever part of their body that humans find valuable. Animals get hunted and killed for that stuff. So their species are getting wiped out. So a lot of zoos in America are not just taking animals captive and taking them out of their natural habitat and hurting them by doing that, but they're actually saving the species by having them in the zoo. But each zoo is to its own. That's just what the zookeeper said, and he works for the fucking zoo, so of course he's going to say positive things about it. That may or may not be true what he said, but it's just something he said, something that made me think about it. Because when I was at the zoo, I was like, damn, this animal, because you know how when you're in the zoo, they got the map that says this animal exists in these areas, and I'm looking at the map, I'm like, all right, it ain't nowhere in America that this animal exists, so why the hell is it in the zoo in Miami? But then when he said that kind of made me think, okay, maybe they're saving the population by doing that. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. That's what he said. That's all the information I got so far, but it's just something that I want to mention in this video. As I said, different pieces of information coming from different sources. You got to interpret it and figure out what it means to you. And the last thing I want to talk about, I'm talking about fruit high in sugar. I mentioned that, and a lot of nutrition experts are saying you shouldn't take in so much sugar because it inhibits the movement of your joints. It slows you down. But at the same time, me being an athlete, a banana is very high in carbs, and carbs are the energy, the fuel of the body. And I like to eat bananas. I like apples, I like strawberries, I like raisins. They're high in carbs, they give me a lot of energy, so it fits what I need. Being an athlete, a very active athlete, I work out every day, I need that energy. But again, as we learn more information about fruits, we learn what maybe could replace fruit in our diet if we need energy, because again, we're not getting the grains, we're not taking in the grains as in the pastas, the rices, the breads, which also are high in carbs, but we're not eating those because of the gluten. So if I'm not going to eat fruit either, where am I going to get the carbs from? That's a question that can be answered probably if I look up the information. So it's the same thing for all y'all out there. So that's the update on diet and nutrition. Any of you have any questions for me, feel free to leave them down here in the comments, but I would strongly suggest to all of you to go look at the diet and nutrition page on my website. I'm going to put an annotation up here so y'all can see that yourselves. That has links to information written by people who know way more than me. Please let me stress that. They know more than I do, so please don't ask me questions as if I'm going to tell you exactly what to eat, because that's not what I'm here for. And I don't want to steer you the wrong way by giving you bad information. So I'm not a nutritionist. I'm an athlete. You already know what I am because you watch these videos. That's it. That's all. Any questions, leave me a comment. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.
Work on your game.